Now we start with Dhvani Viparinati Visheshaha. There are specific phonetic changes that we are talking about. So in this is also just a general introduction of the phonetic changes that we are seeing. So vocalization, there are many that they are going to say, diphthongization, vowel breaking, etc., etc. So with a couple of examples. So here, halaha achtvena parinamaha. Halaha here refers to Shashti Vibhakti Prathama Ekavachana. Hal ityasya achtvena parinamaha. Consonants have become vowels here. So English O of swallow is the vocalization of V of Anglo-Saxon swell. Now I need to show the chart over. Just to understand what has changed here. Hal has become ach. So in the Anglo-Saxon, the V has been replaced by O. If you look at the next example, brain is replaced by Bragan. That is the example given in the text here. So Bragan is in Anglo-Saxon. The G, Bragan, has been transformed to brain. G has become I. Dutch U sound, OUD, is vocalized L of English. So English is old and that has become OUD, oud, in Dutch. Now Samskrita Bhashayam, Yanam Samprasaranattvena Parinamaha. Yanam Samprasaranattvena Parinamaha, there is a sutram called Ig Samprasaranam, which is 1.154. So Samprasaranam is where V becomes U, Ya becomes E, R becomes R, that is the consonant becomes vowel. Okay, Vach becomes Uktaha, Uchyate, Vyaj becomes Ijyate, and the madri Ardh, Iktaha, Ishtaha, adalla Ya becomes Tri, Tiya, Trutiya, Aho. So if you look at Tritiyangra padamoda formation, then it is actually it, ir, I. So tri. This will become tritiya. This is another example. Tri plus tiya. Tiya is another pratyaya that connects. So here it becomes tritiya. So ir becomes r. These are all the examples of samprasaranam in Sanskritam. So this is called vocalization. Other the consonants are stops, where it is not an open sound. So you are vocalizing it means it becomes an open sound from a stop sound. Swallow, swallow. So it becomes more open. Vach becomes ukta. It becomes more open here. The next one is achdvayasya ekamatra kaha samyogaha. It's called diphthongization. Now this diphthongs, to understand diphthongs, it is a combination of two swaras, two vowels. So diphthongs in Sanskritam are A, I, O, Au. Because they are actually A plus E is A plus A is I, A plus U is O, A plus O is Au. This comes in Sandhi rule technically in Sanskritam. So it is not been given in our text in diphthongization. But to understand what is diphthong or a combination of two vowels, we have to understand them as A, I, O, Au. Okay. Now the example given in the text is two ach become one ach. So, or one ach becomes two ach. It can work both ways also. So the Anglo-Saxon is the older English language. So in the Anglo-Saxon, whose is actually house. O, U, both have come there. O, U, both sounds have come in here. One vowel has transformed into two vowels here. Okay, so ach dvayasya ekamatra kaha samyogaha, or two of these have turned into one here. Abdi. The Dutch pensin is the diphthongized version of pensari. Okay, so E has become EI in Dutch. So one ach or two ach have become one, or one is represented by two. Either way it can happen. When we say Rameshaha, it is actually Rama Ishaha. Two vowels are within and they have formed into one. This happens within the language, whereas this can happen over time in other languages like Latin to English or Anglo-Saxon to English. The next one is vowel breaking. இதுக்கு வந்து one minute, let me just read what is there in the text and then we will come to this. Eteshu RLH Eteshu Anyatamena Arabdhe Hal Samuhe Pare. When there is a Hal Samuha behind which starts with R, L or H. There is a Hal Samuha, that is Samyuktakshara, which starts with either R, L or H. Before that, the Samyuktakshara should be following, and the combination of vowels that should be there before is EA or EO, IO. அங்க தப்பா போட்டிருக்கோம் உங்களோட புக்ல எடிஷன்ல. You take it as EA, EO and then IO. These are the combination of vowels that have to come before a Samyuktakshara that starts with R, L or H. Okay? Ityete A, E, I evam rupena yatha sambhavam viparinamante. So EA becomes A, EO becomes E and then IO becomes I. This is what happens. Now, பாதி வார்த்தை இங்க வந்து in this we don't understand that, so I have just written it with what I know. EA is warm in English. It starts with the R. The Samyuktakshara here starts with R. So the EA becomes A. Here also the Samyuktakshara starts with L. So EA becomes A. So here EA, Samyuktakshara starts with H, so it becomes E. EA again, this should be EO here. I think it should be EO, which becomes E. Again here EA becomes A. Idella formula madri. And then this should actually technically be IO, but there is another thing also that it is EO, so that has become I here, silver. Learning is Leo, IO has become, should become technically only I, but this is an exception here. Okay, or you can take it as IO is completely gone here. Appadinu eduthukalam. This is vowel breaking up. So there are two vowels which just breaks up into one. Okay, depending on what it follows or what it goes with. Next is monodiphthong. Inge there are two sounds. Ekamatraka ach dvaya samyogasya ekachtvena parinamaha. Ekamatraka ach dvayam. Ekamatraka ach is two ach is there. Two sounds are there. Now we are talking about sounds. It's not about the written language. In this monophthongism, there is thongization or whatever adu pronounce panna mudala enakku. Ekamatra achingiradhu, it is only pronunciation that we are talking about, where if it has daughter, adu vandu it becomes daughter. The O sound alone is retained. In old German, if you look at it, it is Mutter, and then in New German it becomes Mutter. This is for mother. It's a word for mother. Drought, O, U, there are two vowels here, two sounds here, not vowels, but two sounds which get transformed into just one sound. Idhukku oru summa just an example to say, you know how the English of today, the pronunciation is very different. Yeah? When we say hide, she hides behind a tree. If you look at the Southerner's accent, you go to Atlanta or Texas or somewhere, she hides, there is only one, hides, there is no A, I or that sound is not at all there. It's only hides, she hides there, that is how they have vocalized it. They have made it into one vowel. It's an example. Okay, daughter daughter nu solradhu illiye, we say it as daughter. Oh, only one sound comes out, whereas it is represented by two vowels. Is that clear?
எனக்கு இந்த vowel breaking க்கும் இந்த monophthongization க்கும் சம்ஸ்கிருத எக்ஸாம்பிள் கிடையாது இல்லையா? It's only
இல்ல,
for English. Okay.
it's only for English.
Okay.
There's no example here. Lengthening and shortening of vowels and consonants. Now idilerundu we will just look at what is there in the text because it's very clear. Adula da romba it was not clear. Lengthening and shortening of vowels and consonants, dirghi bhavaha. So acham halam cha dirghi bhavaha hrasvi bhavaha cha gemination iti kathyate. So gemination is that wherein either the vowels are elongated or the vowels are they can be shortened, either the vowels or the consonants. Swara sanniveshaha, accent, yati sanniveshaha, syllabification, itetabhyam ajhalabhyam dirghi bhavaha hrasvi bhavascha bhavati. An example in Sanskritam here is dirghi bhavaha eppadina tatsavitur varenyam. Varenyam is the word, vareniyam ityarth asti kutrachit. அந்த ஸ்வர பேஸ்ட்ல நம்ம வந்து சாண்ட் பண்றச்சே, when we chant it, vareniyam சொல்லுவா. Wherever there is a 7 syllable mantram, they extend it and include indira அப்படிம்பா. இப்ப தமிழ்லயே Indra, the samyuktakshara, there is an elongation of that and a swara sannivesha, the vowel is inputted inside and it is elongated. அந்த மாதிரி தீர்கி பாவஹா. இல்லைன்னா இது புனாரமதே இருக்கும் இல்லையோ அந்த மாதிரி, புனஹரமதே புனாரமதே மாதிரி. I'll give that example later also. So yatha keep ityatra ikarasya accent swarena hrasvaha kept ityarthaha. Ikarasya accent swarena, that is when you want to talk about the past tense here and you accented swaramna e அதுக்காக சொல்றா kept அப்படினு. So sleep ityatra slept, leave left, sheep shepherd. The double e, the elongated e is e. Actually the original e has become e here, elongated, or hrasvi bhavaha, either that. This is fourth ama or fifth, whatever. Assimilation is the next one. Dhvanehe dhvanyantara nimittam tat sarupyam tadrupyam va. Assimilation is அதுவா ஆகிறது அப்படிங்கிறோம் இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி. ஐ ஆம் அசிமிலேட்டிங் எவ்ரிதிங், ஐ ஆம் மேக்கிங் இட் ஆஸ் மை ஓன் அப்படிங்கிறோம். we have taken let's say we have taken the western dress and assimilated it into our culture and made it into an Indian dress also, ஒரு fusionல அப்படிங்கிறோம்ல. that is a physical example that I am giving. In language there are certain examples that we are going to see. So tacha samagrataya yat kinchid amshena va bhavati. Either an entire assimilation can happen or only one portion can be assimilated. Udaharanam tallayaha, tat layaha. The first word has it, takara, and the second word has lakara. The first letter ta has completely transformed itself into the following lakara. Is that clear? Which means it has assimilated the qualities of lakara and it has transformed itself into lakara. So this can be of two types, either progressive or regressive. Progressive is where the first letter progresses into the second letter. That is the first letter. If there are two letters, the first letter progresses into the second letter and changes the second letter into the first letter. Regressive is return method. The second letter influences the first letter. So this tallayaha is a concept of regressive, wherein the second letter la influences the first letter ta. Tatra prathamika prabhede, that is progressive prabhede, purva varnaha visadrisham uttaravarnam swasadrisham kuryat. It will make the second letter into its own letter. Yatha Latin collis has come from colnis. So in the, if you look at this arrow, இந்த மாதிரி வந்திருக்கு இல்லையா, If the arrow is like this, then it means this is the word that was first and this is the second transformed word. So colmis was the first word. The na has become la. Okay, which means this la has progressed into the second letter. Atra dvitiya shabdastaha la varnaha swa uttaram na n varnam swasadrisham karoti. Yathava matrubhashiya. When we say matrubhashiya and we add this star, it means it indicates the primitive Indo-Germanic language which we have created. We don't know that it existed. We don't have inscriptions or any idu for us, but it is a language that we have come across. We have created, okay, to understand. So in the source language of Sanskritam, where you have this KASOS irukku, kasosh, adu ennan puriyala enakku. Ityayam Samskrita bhashayam shashas iti atra prathama shakaraha dvitiyam sakaram shakaram karoti. So this K with a accent on top, in the crown madri irkolyo, this should have been pronounced as sh. That's what I think it should have been. So the sh, sa, shasos, this is a dantya sa. Now this sha, shakara, shivan sha, has come to this second one also. So atra prathama shakaraha. This prathama shakaraha is actually this ka with an accent that we see should be pronounced as sh. Dvitiyam sakaram, which is this second sa that we see here. Okay, dvitiyam sakaram shakaram karoti. So both these are shashaha, rabbit. Yeah. So other solra. Yathava samskrite prakritecha. When we go from Sanskritam to Prakritam, chakra becomes chakka. The ka proceeds to the ra and makes the ra also ka. So it is chakka. Vajra is vajja. Sapatni, savatti. Na becomes the. Atma becomes atta. The ma becomes the. It is no easier to understand. Amshatahava, just a small portion of it could be changed, which is labh plus ta, labdha marradu, jhashaha tatho, the ba is changed to ba, it is reduced to ba, and lab iti bhavati, the ta becomes dha, the bha gives its fourth letter, papa bha bha. It gives its qualities to the tha and makes the tha dha. It does not make the tha as bha, but it makes the 1, 2, 3, 4 na tha the dha amatudradhu. That's all. You realize? So amshataha eva tatra parinamaha yataha mahapranatvam eva tatra, it progresses into the next letter. It does not transform the letter entirely. Puriyartha? Dvitiyaha. Now the second one is regressive. Regressive is reverse transformation. Dvitiya prabede uttara varnaha purva varnam visadrisham. If the earlier varna is not like the second following varna, swasadrishi karoti, it changes the first letter to the second letter. So Latin intellego has come from interlego. The R and L are there. So what happens is the L influences the R and removes the R completely, and you just have interlego. Gossip is actually coming from godsib. So the sa influences the D and makes it into S. So there is a double S in gossip. Gospel comes from God spell. Gospel of book alla solrom illaya, gospel of adu vandu God's spell, God's words appdinu artham. So that's what it means. So the sa has influenced, S has influenced the D, and it has only retained the S here. Gairvanyam in Sanskritam, tacha, tatu plus cha, the cha has influenced it. Tallayaha, la has influenced ta again. Stoschunaschuhu, torli, shtunashtuhu, yaro anunasike anunasikova. These are all some of the sutras under which you can find many examples, and these come under this regressive type of assimilation. Okay. Next type is dissimilation. Vyavahitasya abhyavahitasya va sadrishasya visadrishi karanam. There is a sadrisha words are there. Sadrisha letters are there. But it is making it different when it goes to the next language or when it goes to the next stage. Okay. So, vyavahitasya, either that which is very far apart or that which is very close by, even if abhyavahitam. Vyavahitana separated. Abhyavahita not separated. Sadrishasya, two letters that are similar. Visadrishi karanam, you make it dissimilar. So it is called dissimilation. Purva varnena uttara varnasya chet visadrishi bhavaha saha progressive iti vyapadishyate. Uttarena chet purvasya saha regressive iti kathyate. The progressive and regressive is the same anga. As we read it in the earlier. So, tatra adhyaha yatha. So, progressive. Example is marbre, marble. So, which means this r is following here also. The r is following here. It should follow here. But then when you move, it turns it into a dissimilar letter which is L. So, those two which are similar, R and R are there. It is vyavahitam. It is separate. And the first letter influences the second letter to change into something totally different. It is not at all equal. The same goes for purple becomes purple. Turtle from Latin has become turtle. Purusha in Sanskritam has become Purisa. The sh has transformed into sa in Prakritam. Completely different. Ru has also become ri. Dvitiyaha. Now the reverse has to happen. It has to influence. Okay. Pericrinum has become pelerin. Inga ennachena, the R here has changed the R here. Perecrin. This has changed it into pelerin. The following R has influenced the first R and made it into a completely dissimilar letter. Totally different idea. Ade makuta. Now here what is happening is mauda abdin maridhu. Mukuta has become mauda. How is this? Okay. The ka has changed to u. Adanga. The ta, which is no. எப்படி இதை சொல்றாருன்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. It is only மௌடா தான். Sorry. Mukuta has become mauda. U, inge irukra U has changed. U which has U here also. Whereas this U has changed to A here completely. Aduthan eduthukodum. Okay. Yathava Samskrite didyute ityatra abhyasa ukarasya ikara bhavaha dyuti ityasya didyute iti vartate. அந்த வரி வர்த்தத்தை எல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி தித்யுதே. தியுதிஹி is u, but when there is a doubling, that u should influence and say dudyute, but it doesn't come as dudyute, but it becomes didyute. The u is actually making a dissimilar sound earlier. Dyute அப்படின்னு இருக்கிறது Dyudyute varthukku badala it has changed into Didyute. Puriyudha? regressive dissimilation, because a dissimilar letter has been put in the in here. Yathava vas syati. Dyuti adukku oru sutram vera irukka, samprasaranam அப்படினு இருக்கு. I think there is a sutra number also here. You can check the Ashtadhyayi for the sutra number correctly. Dyuti swapyoho. Okay. Next is swapa irukku illaya, swapa sushwapa ityasti. Va becomes u in the earlier letter. அதுதான் அந்த ஸ்வாப்புங்கிறதுக்கு சம்பிரசாரணம். சம்பிரசாரணம் always means where there is a reduction from vakara, from the consonant it becomes into a open sound vowel. Vatsyati, vas plus yati, vatsyati iti bhavati. இதுவும் வந்து it is வரணும். and the is has transformed the earlier is to it. Is it clear? So dissimilar letter has been introduced or transformed. The similar letters are there. The following simple letter transforms the similar earlier letter into a completely different letter, which is not similar at all. This is another example.
இந்த அசிமிலேஷனுக்கும் டிசிமிலேஷனுக்கும் லைக் இது வந்து டிசிமிலேஷன்ல இன் பிட்வீன் தெர் இஸ் சம் லெட்டர் ஆர் சம்திங் இஸ் தேர், ரைட்?
இல்ல அப்படி இருக்கணுங்கிற அவசியம் இல்ல. not necessary. It can have avyavahitasya vyavahitasya va sadrishasya. It can either have two continuous things like vat is rendu continuous adane irukku.
Okay,
there is no space here. Only in these examples you have something in between. Atra tu avyavahitameva. This is an example of avyavahita aksharasya repetition.
இல்ல எனக்கு இது அப்ப எதுக்கு, how come it is not assimilationன்றது தான் என்னோட கேள்வி. Why is it coming under the category of dissimilation?
அசிமிலேஷன்ங்கிறச்சு ஓகே சரி, உங்களுக்கு அசிமிலேஷன் டிசிமிலேஷனே புரியலன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஓகே, அசிமிலேஷன் இஸ் மேக்கிங் சம்திங் சிமிலர் டு இட் செல்ஃப். ஸோ லுக் எட் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டெப் அண்ட் த செகண்ட் ஸ்டெப். ஓகே, இதில் வந்து ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
I think like in the dissimilation some other word is some other letter is being brought about, right? Like assimilation la vandu it is the same.
Let me just first step la potupom. What is assimilation ku example? Let's say tat layaha. What happens idhula dane ungalku tat layaha. Now the first letter, this is the first step. Yeah, this is your first step. Now the second step here is, the second letter is la. What is the first letter here? Your first letter prathamaha aksharaha atra ittiti asti. The dvitiyaha aksharaha il. Okay, now these two are not the same. These two are totally different letters. Okay, so now the la influences the and changes the the to a sadrisha letter. So you have il and il. So that is why you have tallayaha. Both are now. This is called assimilation.
Okay.
Because you are making it similar, making two different letters similar. Okay. Next one is dissimilation. Dissimilation is making two similar as dissimilar. Now what are the steps here? 1. The example that we saw is vasi plus syati. Now here, now tell me what is the first letter? Is. Prathamaha is. Dvitiyaha is. Now both are similar. What are we changing it into? It and is. So, vatsyati.
Okay.
இப்போ புரியுறதா?
So இதுல வந்து dissimilar, அதுல ரெண்டுமே similar.
First stepல it should start with similar letters or is it starting with dissimilar letters? அதை பார்த்துக்கணும். அதுக்கேத்த மாதிரி you are making it similar in assimilation. Assimilation சேர்க்கிறது. Dissimilation means you are spreading it out, which means you are making it not similar.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Book. Next is Haplology. Sadrishayoho varnayoho varna samudayayoho va anyatarasya lopaha. Now we changed it in assimilation and dissimilation. Now we are going to erase it completely. Okay? Yatha, இது வந்து Vedic example only is there. Tuvir av avan. Av and av are repeated here. One av is dropped. Iradadhyai ityasti. Iradhyai ityeva vedeshu drishyate. But the original is iradadhyai. Okay. So the doubling of the is completely one, this thing is removed. அதாவது ஆம்ரேடிதஸ்ய லோபஹா மாதிரி அது. Okay. Nutrix is actually nutritrix is nutrix. Semestris is becomes semestris. Semester சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? Semester அப்படி வரணும். அது seme is seme and mester is a period மாதிரி. So half period. But we have just combined it into one. Stipendium has become stipendium. Medidialis has become medialis. And the doubling la onna vittudrom. Idololatria is the Latin word. Idolatry has become the English word here. நமக்கு வந்து இதெல்லாம் அந்த டி லோபால பார்ப்போம். ஷகந்த்வாதிஷு டி லோபஹா வாக்கியம் இல்லையா? அந்த இடத்துல the ஷகன் plus அந்துஹு, ஷகன் அந்துஹு, ஷகனந்துஹு should come. ஷகன் பிளஸ் அதானே, ஷகன் பிளஸ் அந்துஹுவா இது இருக்கு. மனசு பிளஸ் ஈஷஹா, மனசீஷஹா வரணும். மனிஷஹான்னு மாறுறது. In Manisha, the doubling of us, adula one is dropped out. Okay? The examples of Shakandwadishu T Vachyam அப்படின்னு ஒரு சூத்திரம் இருக்கு. அது பாருங்க. அதுல இருக்கிற எக்ஸாம்பிள்ஸ்லாம் வரும். Next is addition of sounds or இது loss of sounds. இது அடுத்த கிளாஸ் பார்ப்போம்.